All right, JoeyRitter.com, Joey Ritter on Twitter. Look who we got today. We got Jake Lare, bassist from the Sandlot Heroes. Jake, so good to talk to you again. It's been a while. What's up?
Not much, man. It's good to be here. What's going on with you?
Well, I'll tell you what's going on. This is the perfect time to do the interview. Not such a convenient time for, a band guy, but for someone who's got a baby, 4-month-old, this early AM interview is perfect for me. So I'm all like energized. My mind feels all sharp, ready to go. And,
Yeah,
appreciate you taking the time to do this.
absolutely, man.
So, you guys been around since the mid 2000s, and what was the origin of the name? Did it have anything to do with the movie?
You know, we get asked that question all the time, and Dan, just our singer Dan, real lovable guy. He's just, I think he was playing backyard football with his friends, and that's how it just came up. Sandlot Heroes. I think it was between that and All-Star Heroes, we always say, and I guess Sandlot just stuck. I mean, I joined the band after that was kind of already implanted, so yeah. I mean, it's it's good. That's what people know us by. We own the name, which is good, and yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of how it happened.
All right. Well, I promise as we go through here, I won't be asking you questions that you get all the time. All
No,
right.
it's cool. Yeah.
No, but I actually really wanted to know that. So, you guys got a new album coming out in the fall. You got a CD release show October 20th at Club
Trog.
Trog there in Whitehall.
Yeah.
I mean that. When did that place start doing shows again?
I know because I remember it did shows in the past, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, oh man. I would say about two or 3 years ago, and we, it's a 300 cap room, and I mean, mainly our home venue, we were playing down in the basement. I mean, I remember when we were really able to start to draw after we got on the radio and stuff like that, and that's when we really start to see numbers go up, and that's when we could kind of sell out like a 400 cap room, which is cool. And then this one, we just wanted it to be small and intimate and like an easy, just an easy, packed show where we could sell it out and all of our loyal fans would be there, and we'd have them on board with us, and we'd be able, it'd just be like one big happy gathering. And so we decided to do it there, and Saturday, October 20th, it's like a week before we leave for the Yellowcard tour, so it worked, we said.
So, I mean, yeah, that room, I've been there maybe 12 years ago, and I remember being there and saying, like, this place is awesome.
Yeah.
And then finally, when I got in a band and started playing, it kind of shut down, and it shut down for 10 years. I mean, that's like a perfect room for you guys. The stage is great.
Yeah.
It's a great place for, like, kids to come and hang out. And I saw you got a golden era on that show. It's great to see those
we love
guys
those
back
guys.
together.
Yeah, they've been playing, Dale's married and Dustin's married, but, I kind of looked up, to you guys and to them as well when I was, because they're like, they're a little bit older and married and stuff like that. But I always thought they were, really good guys, nice guys, and I just said, you guys want to play the show, and they said yeah. So
awesome. So you got a new album coming out, as I mentioned. The album is called American Love. All in all, so I listened to All in All, the track that you guys have on your website. A little softer of a song. I liked it a lot, but I'm used to you guys kind of rocking out. What's the album like? Is it more in the direction of that? Is it kind of like your old stuff mixed together? Tell me about it.
There's really no traces of pop punk, really. I mean, we really tried to. I think we did that a lot on our first album. This we really kind of. I mean, it's kind of typical to say, but there's a whole mess of stuff on here. I mean, I literally went up to the studio with our producer Adam Richman with stuff that I really thought should have made it, and he said, there's already too many songs that kind of sound like this on the thing, and it doesn't mean they were good. It was just there were already too many. So let's try and make it more dynamic, whatever. Paradise. It could be. It sounds like a U2 song. I mean, it really does. All in All sounds like a Plain White T's song. Freeway is another. That's an up-tempo song that we kind of always end our set with. That's a really rocking song. My favorite song, that's we reference Train a lot on our album, the band Train, that album. So it is more like, for the, I would say a mix between the script and Plain White Tees, I don't think we're as, it's kind of hard to tell. It's in the middle. But, I mean, definitely a good rock album. We tried to rock it as much as possible.
I'm sure you accomplished that.
Thanks.
Now, Jake, when you make an album these days, compared to when your band first started in the mid 2000s, people were still buying CDs back then. Okay, so when you made an album, you kind of had to think about the album cover, the liner notes, where you're going to put the lyrics, taking pictures of the band, putting that in there, packaging the whole thing together, printing on the CD, that whole thing. Do you even think about that these days, or you're just thinking about an album cover just to have on people's iTunes?
I think it's important to think about those things because touring has become such an important aspect, like you said, because people aren't buying CDs. But the one thing I can tell you is that if you're at a show, they see you live, and then you literally have a one-on-one connection with them, with the person, and they're gonna buy a CD. They're gonna want that connection, that bond. It's kind of just a link between you guys, and I think it is important, to have everything very professional still. Remember, your CD is 6 Degrees of Variation. That was like awesome.
Thanks.
And we that was very professional, and I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. And I think we still need to get that same reaction to these young kids, and for the older kids, it's just good to have, I think.
Well, I hope your CD release show has a better fate than the 6 Degrees CD release show, where our albums weren't shipped in time for the CD release. So I think you'll do better there. But speaking of the tour you're going on tour with Yellowcard, the Wonder Years, massive bands. Yellowcard's, their new album's doing real well. The tour is going to be awesome for you guys. You guys are. I'm glad I'm getting you on the show now before you're too big to talk to me.
No, dude.
But, is there any specific venues on that tour that you're like, holy shit, we're playing here? I've always wanted to play here?
Electric Factory, man.
For sure.
Yeah,
that was the first one I looked at,
Yeah, it's definitely, just, that is great. I mean, I literally went to your shows. I went to Royal Noise Brigade shows, man. I went to and I was 13 and 14, things just led one thing to another. I'm really lucky I met Dan, our singer. I'm really lucky for a lot of things, and I never, dude, some of my favorite shows I went to were at the Electric Factory, not to mention, I think I was with this sounds stupid. I was with my dad, when I was 13, I went down to Disney World on, one of his conferences for his work, and we went to downtown Disney. I'm like, oh, if I ever played there at the House of Blues, I'll have made it. And I'm not saying that now, but I'm stoked to play at the House of Blues down there.
I know exactly where that is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they used to have the big Virgin record store right across. I think that place doesn't exist anymore. I could be wrong about that, but
it's gonna be great. The guys were like, Jake, what are you more excited for, Vegas or Disney on this trip? And I'm like, let's go to downtown Disney. But I'm excited for all the venues. Really, this is such a well-rooted tour. You guys, I'm sure you guys have done long drives in the night, man.
Sure.
We drove from, we were on tour with Bowling for Soup. We drove from Omaha to Nebraska to Baltimore one night, and that sucked. That was 20 hours. It was on my birthday, and I just slept in this crack in the back of the van, and that was my gift for the day. Yeah. But this tour is very well rooted. So.
Though, when you're rewarded with a tour like this, all those long drives, all the hard work you guys put into it, it just makes it that much more sweeter.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have gone through it. You've done those tours. There's a lot of bands that kind of catch success early and don't experience those type of things. And, I think that's the difference between bands that might fizzle out versus, guys that know how to get dirty, load equipment and do all those kind of things. And I just think it makes you more well-rounded as a band. Now, you mentioned those old shows in the Lehigh Valley and stuff. What's the scene like there these days? Is it, is there still like a crop of bands that people go see, or is like the internet kind of saturated things now?
I think it's kind of saturated things. It was never nearly as good as it's just plain and simple. That's not an insult to anybody. It just wasn't as good as it was when I was like 14 years old. So I mean, and I'm sure for a bunch of teenagers in high school now, there still is kind of a circuit of bands. I just haven't really come across a whole lot like that. That we've played a ton of shows together. It's just kind of more like random bands here and there, rather than a real following like you guys had, like the Royal Noise Brigade had, like those bands. It's kind of, and that's okay. Like, I mean, it's just not that way anymore. At least not from my perspective. And I think I would have heard about something. But it's okay, man. I mean, we I think the internet has, with the changing of times, people, it's become a lot easier for people to call themselves a band, and that's more bands, harder for other bands to break through, saturate. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just from reading your tweets and reading the band's Facebook and something, there seems to be an obsession with the show Boy Meets World. What's up with that?
I don't know, dude. I mean, I love I kind of wish I was like my age sometimes in the 90s, like 22 back, and I would kind of wish it was like 1990. I don't know why. It's really weird, but I started watching it on afternoon, on old school afternoons or whatever on MTV, and I'm like, okay, I started watching episode after episode after episode, and I'm like, this is a great show. This is a great show because, when I watch TV episodes, like I watched all the seasons of Breaking Bad, like when we were up in the studio in New York, like at my off time, like I watched every season.
Right.
So I watched that, and then I watched every season of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and then I'm on Boy Meets World. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure there'll be another show coming up soon.
Yeah, I mean, the Savage Brothers, they seem to be all about those coming-of-age type shows, because Boy Meets World was, again, I was at the wrong age for both Boy Meets World and the Wonder Years. I was too young for the Wonder Years, and I was too old for Boy Meets World. But I have gone back and watched, like, past Wonder Years episodes and identify with, like, all the underage drinking and kissing girls at parties and stuff. Yeah. Like, it's good stuff. But yeah, Boy Meets World is definitely a great show, and
it is.
Sean is great character right
love
there.
Love Sean, man. I love Sean. Yeah. I mean, I love all of them. Ben Savage, he's a good guy, and I respect that about him.
You ever see the movie Little Monsters?
Little Monsters. I don't think so.
Okay, look that one up. It's not the world's greatest movie, but it's got Fred Savage and a very young Ben Savage.
Oh, nice.
And the plot of the movie is Howie Mandel is a monster, and he crawls from under the bed, and then they can go down in this weird underworld type thing, and
man.
If they stay down there too long, they're going to turn into monsters, so they got to get back up, before the sun rises. And
both brothers are in it.
Both brothers are in it. Daniel Stern's in it. Howie Mandel. In between studio sessions, I think it's a good watch for you.
Good. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Little Monsters. Got it.
So I was talking to you a little bit this week, and you said after seeing a good amount of the country, the Lehigh Valley is not that bad of a place to live. Now, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But I was curious to hear, a little bit more about what you meant by that.
Well, I just, when I was young, I just wanted to get the hell out of here so bad, like any other kid from where they're kind of grown up. I think a lot of people actually feel that way. So, when I finally did get out and started to see the country, I was like, oh, well, there's a lot going on here. You're only, like 3 hours from the beach, not even an hour and a half, an hour from Philly, 2 hours from New York or whatever. And like, that's good. when you're in Boise, Idaho, it's kind of tough to figure out, But I love it there too because the mountains and everything. It's great. But then there were other places like just I don't know. I like the Midwest a lot. I don't know why. It's like probably Kansas is one of my favorite parts of the country just because when you're driving, it's like it looks like two oceans on either side. But it can get pretty boring in those towns. There's not a lot to do, and I just realized the Lehigh Valley isn't that bad. Even though when I was growing up here, I just wanted to get out.
For sure, yeah. I mean, even a city like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends in Pittsburgh. We argue about sports a lot, and it's like, okay, we've won 3 Super Bowls, Stanley Cup, whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, but you're still in Pittsburgh, all right? It still takes you 6.5 hours to get to the shore.
Right.
It takes you forever to get to Ocean City, Maryland. And
Yeah.
I'd pick Philadelphia and like East Coast. Pennsylvania over anything. So
Me too, man. Me too. I
now,
agree.
you also said that Tampa is one of your favorite cities. I gotta, I feel like I've been around the country a lot, and I'm a little puzzled by that one.
Tampa?
I would think Tampa wouldn't even crack the top 10.
Oh, really? All right. Well, I mean, the reasons are my girlfriend's family lives down there, and they're great. And I think it was when we were driving into Ybor City, which is that downtown area or whatever, part of Tampa. And then there were this huge lightning storm over the bay that we were driving over, and I was just like, this is awesome. Like, it was just, I've never seen anything like it. Just, hundreds of lightning flashes. It's kind of weird, but
so that's why the hockey team's called the Lightning then, because they have Oh, all right.
Yeah, like the humidity and the bay is really nice. I don't know. I really don't know. I like it down there, man. I like the Midwest, and it's weird, but I would probably prefer those places outside of the Lehigh Valley than like Los Angeles or something like that. So
now you also mentioned that you like hiking and skiing in the Adriatic area, New York, right?
Yeah, I love it. Lake Placid I've been going there since I was a kid, up in upstate New York, and I went up there. Yeah, I went up there this summer, and it was great. It's a good place to just go and chill out.
I've never done. It's so pathetic. I've never done either of those things, ski or hike. I mean, I guess I've hiked, but I would consider it a walk. What's the difference between like a walk and a hike?
Well, I mean, the mountains up there are like the biggest mountains on the East Coast, so it's a tough climb. There's 2 mountains up there, Mount Marcy and there's 46 peaks, but there's the 2 tallest mountains are Marcy and Algonquin. And Algonquin is like K2 because it's harder to climb than Marcy, but Marcy is the tallest. It's just, it takes you about like 10 hours, 11 hours to do the whole mountain, and it's hard. You have to go, you trip, you fall. I did it in the ice one year. It was crazy. It's just...
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's good, and I like skiing just because, I
get why skiing is awesome. It's just like, I don't know, my parents never took me skiing as a kid, and then, it's 10 years old and 20 years old and 30, and it's like, I guess I have to take my daughter skiing sometime for me to do it sometime. So
Didn't you play hockey?
I did, yeah.
I played hockey up until, it was my main sport through high school.
Oh, I'm all about ice skating. Anytime I can ice skate, I'm all about it. But is that the same thing as skiing? If you can stay up on skates, can you stay up on skis?
No, it's not similar. But I feel like you could do it, man. It's just takes practice. Yeah. My girlfriend's trying, and she's pretty good. She's getting better. She was a wreck the first time, but she's getting better.
Is she right there?
She's somewhere.
Does she want to make an appearance on the show?
Babe. I think she's like upstairs.
Girls, they gotta like make up and if she just woke up, I'm sure she's not gonna walk in front of the camera. But that's fine. Some other time.
Yeah,
sometime we'll have you both on the show, and we'll ask a couple related questions.
Yeah, she says she would need a shower.
It's all good. See, no, but that's a great thing about this interview is you and I both don't need the shower for each other.
Oh, I know.
Good to go.
I know. I just kind of popped out of bed, and I'm glad to be up this early, man. I am trying really hard to be, because like you said, being in a band, a lot of band members, they get up later in the day, but I am trying to get up early so I can go to sleep early, and just have a good routine. That's important.
I don't care if you're in a band or you're just do whatever, but when you get up early, you accomplish things during the day. It makes you feel good, no matter what kind of person you are or what you're doing.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So shifting gears back to the band, I saw on your Facebook page you guys posted a cover song from the band Imagine Dragons, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And I listened to it, thought it was great. Now, that type of thing, stay with me here.
Mm-hmm.
It, maybe 10 years ago might be considered corny to kind of cover a song on the radio. But
right.
These days, when you have things like Glee, and you have, a ton of people searching acoustic covers on YouTube and stuff. Is that kind of like a strategy thing for bands? Like, you've got your fans, you've got your music, and there's just people, that exist on the internet that, just aren't going to discover your band because they're not going to discover you, but they might search out those songs that you're covering. Is that a strategy for bands these days?
100%. I mean, it's something that we probably lack in doing because it's become a way of life for a lot of bands, man. Like there are bands who this is what they focus solely on covers, and then they have some original material, but covers are the most important thing. It's about doing a cover that is kind of it's usually not a rock cover, kind of like we did on one songs. It's usually more mellow acoustic, with a cajon, like drums, synth pads, whatever. And then they make it their own. Then they shoot a very expensive video for it. And the idea is you want to release it at the right time so you can get a ton of views, which in return will have people go and like your band and then like your originals, and I think it's it's just the way it is now, so whatever. We haven't really done that at all. A lot of bands we've come across, they who even are original acts and we've toured with, they do that, like a lot of the younger bands do, at least, just because that's kind of the formula that they're being brought up in. Like this group Paradise Fears that we did a short run with, they're actually out of South Dakota, and they get over 1 million hits on their cover videos, which is awesome. It's great, and then in return that can lead them to their original music. There are some groups though that I think they spend too much time on covers and not enough time on originals, and I know for me, to a fault almost, I just only care about the music. That's it, just obsessing about our own stuff.
Yeah.
But now I really am trying to say, like, okay, if a cover, if we like a cover, why don't and it's the right time, why don't we try and make a go at it? And imagine that was just Chris and Dan on an acoustic guitar. I mean, but it's funny to say that video is starting to go up a little bit just because we released it like 2 or 3 weeks, like a month ago, and this song is just getting big now. So like when you type in Imagine Dragons on YouTube, it's time. Like we're the second thing. Yeah. We're on the second page.
Oh, so wow, that's huge.
It's cool. I mean, it hasn't amounted to anything yet, and it may never. But I can see like a steady increase, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what people do on covers.
Well, I don't. I'm not. I remember as you're saying this, I'm thinking. I was searching out like a Paul Simon cover, and I came across this cover song on YouTube that I liked a lot, and I commented on it.
Yeah.
And I remember the guy who posted the video. I think you can email people, like you don't know their email address, but you can shoot them a message if they comment on your video.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey man, thanks for your comment. Here's a link to my original stuff.
Right.
And the guy had like 1,000 comments on his video, so okay, I didn't buy his original stuff, but I'm assuming the more people he emails about it, is that the type of thing that you have somebody sitting monitoring that kind of stuff of who's commenting?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of do that a lot for our group, but that's um, yeah, but I've never really done it on that in that terms in that for just for having a cover video, for having thousands and thousands of comments. I've never really done it from that angle, and I would like to, man. I would really like to get a popular cover video up. That'd be cool. I just and that way, you can message people and say, "Hey, check this out," and chances are a good percent of them will not. I would say a good percent is under 50% still, but a good percent will. And I just don't want to get lost and say, "Let's do another cover. Let's do another cover. Let's do another cover." When I should be locking myself in my room at my piano all night.
Right.
Doing my own stuff.
Right.
That's kind of what I think.
Now, cover songs are good. Now, what I want to do here, Jake. Now, I've known your band for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited about the success you're having. But I'm going to try to get you to talk a little bit of smack on your band members, all right?
Deal.
Because, yes, I wish nothing but the best for you guys, but if I could cause, like, a little bit of a fight in the van, I'm down with that, too.
All right.
So I'm going to name 5 things, and
Yeah.
I need you to tell me the band member most likely to do one of the things, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So which band member in Sandlot Heroes is most likely to go to the movies with his mom? You included in this.
All right. Dan.
Dan?
Singer. Our singer, Dan.
The lead singer going to the movies with his mom. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Who's most likely to carelessly catch an STD on the road? Now, you can't say yourself because you have a girlfriend.
Well, we all have girlfriends except for Ann, so I'm going to have to say Ann's. Our drummer, I think. We all have girlfriends. We're lame. I mean, we really are. Like, real quick. I mean, we went from touring with Hawthorne Heights which was they drink at Starbucks. That's all they do. They drink Starbucks. Then we literally hopped on that Bowling for Soup tour, and they said, "All right, you're getting 2 cases of beer a night. Here you go. You gotta kill it." And then every single night, everybody on that tour drank from 2 till 2, and we just couldn't keep up, man. I mean, we're kind of lame, but on the road. But I think that keeps us focused on our job.
No, that's good. So. All right, now who's most likely to buy a new outfit before a show?
Me or Chris, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Dan'll. Yeah, me or Chris.
Nothing wrong with that. I did that one time, and I was excited about it. And who's most likely to stand in front of the mirror for like 45 minutes?
Oh, God. Probably Dan or me, I'm going to say. I mean, insecurity really comes out,
Okay.
So, I mean, Dan or myself.
I love how you're throwing yourself under the bus. Good
stuff.
It's
fine.
All right, the last one, which, is going to be the one that pisses off your band members. Who is the most likely to screw up a song on stage?
Dan. Dan.
Didn't even think about that one.
Nope. It's all right. I mean, Dan, the only reason I would say that is because, I don't know, sometimes his in-ears get tweaked. I'm like, and then after I'm like, just figure it out. But, it's okay.
Yeah.
Dan, but that's okay.
All right, another rapid fire thing. We do a crazy thing here on JoeyRitter.com called Turn It Up or Turn It Off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to name you 5 songs. Simply tell me if you turn it up or turn it off.
All right, deal.
All right. Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way.
Turn it up.
I agree, man. I agree. That's a song that I absolutely, when it was out, I was maybe 17, and I couldn't be caught dead liking that song, but it's an awesome song. You gotta admit it.
But boy bands back then wrote the best. I mean, they had geniuses writing those songs, man. Like, whether you like boy bands or not, those songs are timeless, and I would have to say that's something that the boy bands today lack. So.
Absolutely. Actually, I wrote that down right before we hit record here. I think I want to go listen to it after this is done. But all right, second song is "Take on Me" by Aha. The original version, not the big fish version.
Up.
Nice. All right, I agree. Smooth Criminal, speaking of covers, by Alien Ant Farm.
And down.
Not down with that one.
Like, I think those guys are talented, like some of the most really talented. I saw them live. I just not a fan of that song.
Right on. All right. What do I got here? I got Your Love Is My Drug by Kesha.
I was listening to that the other day, man. I guess up. I mean, it's not Kesha's. Dr. Luke wrote it, so whatever. Turn it up.
Gotcha. All right, last one is Fly by Sugar Ray.
Up.
Nice.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, Jake, we're going to close it out here. I got the thing called the Book of Questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Some pretty dark questions in here, some pretty easy questions. 200 of them. I need you to pick a number between 1 and 200.
Cool.
And I will ask you the corresponding question.
All right. 91.
91. Good number. I like the nice odd number there. All right. This is a good one. Would you rather play a game with someone more or less talented than you? And would it matter who was watching?
Oh, God.
I think that's my favorite one I've asked so far.
Oh, my God. I would rather play a game with more talented, man, because you're not working towards anything otherwise. And no, it doesn't matter who's watching.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of like what we're doing on this tour. I mean, they have more experience than us, all these bands, and we're kind of new. So, I mean, and I'm very thankful that we'll be playing in front of all these people watching us, so
Sure.
on this Yellowcard tour, I mean.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, Jake, I really appreciate you doing the show, and
Yeah.
Continued success. Best of luck on the Yellowcard tour. Best of luck with the album. So excited for you guys, and I really appreciate you doing it. And I hope
No problem. Let's catch up soon, man.
Tweet me on the road, all right?
I will. Thanks, Joe.
You got it, Jake.